Hang on a sec until I see. Yeah, no, I think everyone is in. Yeah, sorry. Go back to this. Okay, right. So as I say, we're at the end of this chapter, so I'm going to correct last night's homework, right? Okay, and then we're going to do some of the test yourself questions at the end. Okay, as regards a test, remember I said the last chapter and this chapter go together. There's one more short little chapter that I'm going to do as well before I give you a test, so I'm going to do, and then you'll have a test on 3 chapters. Okay, so I'll be very clear about what's on the test or whatever when we get to it. Okay, so don't worry about it for the moment. Okay, but just know we're nearly finished this chapter. We are finished this chapter, and then we're going to do some of the test yourself questions in a while, and then we'll do one more chapter and then we'll do a test. Okay, just in case you're wondering. Right, okay, so last night's homework number 3. Okay, it says copy and complete the table below. Right, so it was 2 to the power of x, and this is right. I know this confuses some people, girls. This means multiply. Okay, and they use a dot for the multiply instead of a multiply sign, because if they use a multiply sign you might think it's an x. Okay, so that dot means multiply, so that actually means multiply in there. Okay, right, so 2 to the power of x, this would be 2 to the power minus 2 into the calculator, that you get a quarter. This one is 2 to the power of minus 1 into the calculator, that you get a half. This one is 2 to the power of 0, that's 1. Remember, anything to the power of 0 is 1. Okay, I looked at one person's homework and they said 2 to the power of 0 is 0. No, it's not. Anything to the power of 0 is 1. Right, and if you can't remember that, do it on the calculator and you won't go wrong. This one is 2 to the power of 1, which is 2, and this is 2 to the power of 2, which is 4. Now what they want you to do here is take this answer and multiply it by 4. So that's 4 times a quarter, which is 1. This is 4 times a half, do it on the calculator, which is 2. This is 4 times 1, which is 4. This is 4 multiplied by 2, which is 8. And this is 4 multiplied by 4, which is 16. So your points for your graph are minus 2, 1, right, minus 1, 2, 0, 4, 2, 8, and, sorry, 1, 8, isn't it? 1, 8, I put in a 1, got out an 8, and 2, 16. So there are your points for the graph, okay? Just remember that that dot means multiply. Okay, so then you get your graph paper and you draw. Right, okay, so I just move those over that way so I can get the graph in here. Right, okay, so the first one is minus 2 and up to 1. Okay, the next one is minus 1 up to 2. 0 is up to 4, 1 is up to 8, and 2 is up to 16. So it still has the same shape, guys. It's heading towards the x-axis. It'll never get there, right? And up it goes, right? And it gets really big, really fast. So that's your, that's the graph. Okay? The camera seems to be about 10 seconds behind me, so I don't know how the speech is, but anyway. Right, then they said, use your graph to estimate f of 0.5. So f of 0.5, that's in the bracket, so that means x is 0.5. So if they're telling you x, they're looking for y. So if they tell you x, they look for y. So to find x is equal to 0.5, you go to the x-axis, you go to 0.5 on the x-axis, you draw a line up to hit the graph. So here I am at 0.5, up to hit the graph, draw a line across and read off your answer. So my answer is about 5.5. Okay, now your answer is whatever your graph says. So if you just did that on your graph, but you got a different answer, right, okay, that's correct, because it's whatever your graph said, and mine is probably way less accurate than yours anyway, right, okay, so, because it's done with marker, etc., right, so that's what I got, 5.5. So that was number 3. Right, number 4, right, okay, I didn't tell you about, okay, so I'm going to explain number 40 before I answer the question. So yesterday I said, if I had y equals 2 to the power of x, right, I said that crosses at 1, so it would look like that, right, okay. If we have a number in front of it, so if I had y equals 2 multiplied by 2 to the power of x, it will cross at 2, so it will be the exact same shape, except it will cross at 2. So it's the exact same shape, it's just moved up, right? If it's y equals 3 multiplied by 2 to the power of x, it will cross at 3, so it will have moved up again, okay? Exact same shape. If it was y equals 4 multiplied by 2 to the power of x, it will cross at 4, and so on, okay? And it doesn't have to be 2 to the power of x, it could be 3 to the power of x, right? We'll cross at 1. 2 multiplied by 3 to the power of x will cross at 2. 3 multiplied by 3 to the power of x will cross at 3. 4 multiplied by 3 to the power of x will cross at 4, etc. So whatever the number is in front, okay, and remember there's no number here, so remember when there's no number there's a 1 understood to be there. That's where it crosses. So number 4 in last night's homework shows me a graph that crosses at 3. So it crosses there at 3. So it says it's a number multiplied by 2 to the power of x, and all you have to say, well, it crosses at 3, so it must be 3 multiplied by 2 to the power of x. So write down the value of k, so that k, that number in front of the 2 to the power of x is 3. Okay? It says f of 2 is not shown on the graph. I don't know if I, okay, spiral. Okay, maybe not. Okay, so f of 2, they said, is not shown on the graph. So f of 2 is way up there somewhere, right? What is f of 2? That means everywhere you see an x, put in a 2. So we figured out it's k multiplied by 2 to the power of x. We've just figured out this is 3 multiplied by 2 to the power of x is 2. So that's 12. Into the calculator with that. Remember that's a multiply sign. Don't forget that's a multiply sign. Okay? And use this graph to estimate, the last question in this was use this graph to estimate where f of x equals 1. So it's not in the bracket, so that means they're telling me y is equal to 1. So if they tell me y is 1, they're asking me for x. So you go to 1 on the y-axis, you go left or right to hit the graph, which is left. You draw a line down, and you read off that number. So I'm looking at, I'd say minus 1.6, right, but whatever you read off. If you read off anywhere between minus 1 and minus 2, it's right. Okay? And then number 5, sorry, I'm just making sure there's people there, because it's, right, number 5, right, okay, I talked about yesterday, okay, this is so slow, this camera, whatever's going on with it, I don't know. So number 5, I talked about yesterday. So I said 2 to the power of x, 3 to the power of x, 3 by 3 to the power of x. I didn't talk about that one. But these ones, 2 to the power of x, 3 to the power of x, right, I said the bigger the number, the closer it was to the x-axis. So these cross at 1, so the ones that cross at 1 are either B or C. Sorry, I'm just waiting for this to move, it's really slow. Right, B or C? Yes. Someone talking to me?
Ella said she's having trouble, Ella Washington said she's having trouble logging in.
Alright, okay, right, I will record it anyway, should be grand. Okay, right, so 2 to the power of x, 3 to the power of x, right, okay. So the one with the bigger number is closer to the y-axis. Remember, this is the y-axis going up. So this is the y-axis, right, okay? So the one that's closer to the y-axis is the bigger number. So that means b is y equals 3 to the power of x. So that's b. This is a, and look, we just talked about this. So the number in front is where it crosses the y-axis. So there's a 3 in front here, so that means it crosses at 3. So that means that's graph A. Sorry, that should be graph C. Sorry, I wrote down the wrong letter. Okay, right. That was it for last night's homework. And that's the basics from exponential graphs, and that's enough for this year. The basics is enough. So I'm going to ask you to do page 187, right, okay, question 1, 2 and 3. So, so the revision exercises, there's draw two graphs and answer questions on one. So it's page 187, question 1, 2 and 3. Right, okay, that's really slow. It's way behind me. I don't know what's going on with that. Right, okay, so do you want to head off and do that? Right, okay, and I'll talk to you on Monday. I'll correct those on Monday. Okay, right, have a nice weekend. Okay, bye now.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.